Hello YouTube, this is Champion 2D Rob back again. How is everybody doing? This is a pickups video. It's been a while since my last pickups video, and it's been about 2 weeks since my last video, which was a pickups vid, but it was just sort of my CEX pickups. But this is going to be my pickups for the last couple of months. Included in this video is going to be some stuff that I picked up for my birthday. My birthday was in early May. So yeah, this is basically a combination of pickups from this month, May, and a bit of April as well. And I've got some great stuff here, guys. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys what I've got. I think before we get into it, I just want to sort of update you guys on what happened after my last video. Now, if you see my last video, which was my first online CEX pickups, most of you saw that I was pretty disappointed. I was pretty annoyed with basically the quality of one particular game. But essentially, from the 3 games that I bought, I've kept 2 and the other one I returned. I actually wasn't that angry about my purchases. It may have come across like that on camera, and that was just because the game I wanted the most turned out to be the one I had to return, just due to really being in really crap condition. But the other 2 games, well, the first one was actually perfectly fine, but the other one, it did arrive sort of a little bit sort of squashed on one side, but otherwise I felt it was salvageable, and I was able to, and I decided to keep it. So yeah, just to sort of show you guys. So I've got here Golden Sun, The Lost Age. Yeah, obviously this was the one that came out great from the off from CEX, so I definitely wanted to keep that. And of course I kept the first Golden Sun game as well. Yeah, it was fine. Just it has like sort of like a crease going across here. Sorry about the glare. I've got them in protectors, but yeah, just decided to keep this one as well. So overall, it wasn't actually that bad of a thing to sort of take the risk, go online, and I would use CEX online again because their returns policy is actually pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Just take your item back to any CEX store and they'll pretty much refund you your money. So it's not really a big issue, even if you get a game that's not as it's described or even remotely close to what it's described. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of clarify, because I think a lot of people got the impression that I was sort of really pissed off and I would never use CEX again and stuff like that. And I know that's how it came across in the video. That's because it was just my initial reaction. I was opening the packages on camera for the first time, so of course there was going to be a degree of disappointment from the off. But after the fact, you know, after I've had time to sort of process it, it wasn't actually that bad. Of course, I was gutted about Advance Wars 2, which was the game I had to return. That was the one I was looking forward to the most, and that one turned out to be the one in the shittiest condition. So that one had to go, unfortunately. So anyway, we keep on trucking, I suppose. But moving on, yeah, so I've got a great selection of titles here. And for once, most of it is actually retro. I do have a few modern games, but not that many. So I guess I'll just sort of start with the modern stuff. Let's see. I think first thing I'll start with some accessories here. First thing I picked up. This is just basically something I needed for the PlayStation 4. I just don't like using the control pad, so I opted to pick up this remote control. And it works really well. I will say this, because I've heard a lot of negative reviews with regards to some of the other remote controls that have been issued for the PlayStation 4. And while the PlayStation 3 did have sort of like a first party remote control, the PS4 for whatever reason sort of lacked one. But this one here by I don't know what the company name is. I think it's a Snap Remote, I think that's what it's called. Not sure what the company name is, but they said that this is basically the official one, sort of. It's a third-party remote, but I guess they decided to make this one sort of the official one. And I will say it works great, guys. So for someone like me who uses the PlayStation 4 for more than just gaming, you know, I use it to watch Netflix and Blu-rays and whatnot. So for me, this works really well. So I highly recommend getting it if you want to pick up a remote control for the system. Okay, so next couple of items I picked up here. Now, basically, back in early May was my birthday, and I thought I would treat myself. There was a couple of things that was on my to-get list, some big items, and the first one I wanted to get. Now, this was essentially something that's, well, now most of you know that I had a Retron 5, a clone console. Just because of lack of space, really, it was just more convenient for me to use one of those consoles as opposed to using my original hardware. So yeah, I was using the Retron 5 and had no problems with it for a very long time, and then all of a sudden I just turned it on one day and it just fucking died on me. So I didn't know what to do, and I tried to fix it, but nothing seemed to be working. So I decided, you know what, it was time to move on and get something else. I didn't really want to go with Retron 5 because, to be perfectly honest with you, I just don't really trust Hyperkin. So I mean, I just don't see how a system can just sort of clap out like that, especially since I didn't even use it that much. So I was quite annoyed by that. So I heard a lot of good things about this particular system, and I thought, you know what, I want to give it a shot, see what it's like. And I have to say, so far I'm quite happy with it. There are some issues that I won't really bother getting into now, but essentially it's not perfect, but ultimately it's a really good system. I'm really quite chuffed with it, and what I picked up was the Retro Freak. This is the premium pack. This one comes with the NES adapter as well as a controller adapter, so you can use all your original controllers for the system. And for those of you that don't know, basically the Retro Freak allows you to download the ROM onto the system itself to an SD card. So once you've put the cartridge in, you don't have to keep putting it in. It basically saves the ROM to the system, and you can just basically save your cartridges. And what's really cool is obviously you can put ROMs on the SD card as well. You can run it like that if that's what you want to do. And it's very small, it's very basic, but it plays, you can play Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, NES via an adapter, Famicom, Game Boy Advance, as well as PC Engine as well, which is quite new, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I think later on there is going to be sort of like an adapter to play Master System games. I'm quite disappointed that you can't play Master System games straight away, but it's actually a very good system, and you know, it was a nice buyout, I thought, and good to have. But ideally at some point, I do want to create some space to bring out my Mega Drive and Super Nintendo out, because I do kind of miss playing on them. But for now, this sort of seems to do, and yeah, it's really cool. I do seem to prefer it much more to the Retron 5, and of course it does HDMI output and all that stuff. So yeah, chuffed to have that. Next thing I picked up that I wanted to get, and I felt this was definitely an upgrade, especially given the collection of games I have for this system, and I decided to make the jump and pick up a new 3DS XL. I don't know if you can't tell by the lighting, this is a orange and black one. I just really like the colour of it, so I thought I'd pick it up. And I'll actually show you the system itself. This is it here. Really cool system. I really like the colours of it. Just really pops out, sort of the orange and black. And I absolutely love it. I've actually, I mean, I've had the original 3DS XL. And I noticed the differences right away. It loads faster. It's definitely a lot quicker processor, and yeah, I love it. I've been playing it non-stop. I've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem Fates on it. I actually just completed that game. Well, one of the games of it. I completed Fire Emblem Birthright, so I've still got two more Fire Emblem missions to go on. But yeah, really happy with this. As soon as I got it, I pretty much loaded it up with side-scrolling beat-em-ups. I've got Streets of Rage 1 and 2 on here. I've got Final Fight 2 and 3, as well as Mighty Final Fight. What else have I got on here? I've got a couple of other titles which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, really chuffed to get this one and this particular colour. I definitely recommend it, guys. If you're wondering whether it's worth making the jump to a new 3DS, definitely pick it up. I love it. It's awesome. And I also picked up a carry case to match it as well. So it's got a black and orange out trim as well. Really cool. So yeah. Okay, so next thing we're going to move on to is some PlayStation 4 games. Just 2 here. Yeah, not much in the way of PS4 games I've been picking up. I just kind of felt I just want to focus on playing them a bit more, so I haven't been buying too many. But I got a couple here. One game I picked up was Sniper Elite 3. Unfortunately, the seller sent me an American copy, which really pissed me off because that's not what they agreed to sell. I just can't be asked to return it, but yeah, I wanted to give this game a try. In any case, I've just heard a lot of good things about the Sniper Elite games. I played the demo of it as well and quite enjoyed it, so I wanted to give this game a shot. And the next game I picked up, and this is something a little bit special. I got this from Limited Run Games. Really chuffed to get it. I actually tried to get the special edition, the big box set, and I actually had it in my cart because I was there as the moment it came online to set for sale. I was there minute one, first second, and as I went to pay for the special edition, I had to sort of update some of my profile, unfortunately. And then when I was all set to pay for it, the basket reset itself and told me that it was sold out. I was so gutted. But I did manage to get a regular copy, and what I got was Darius Chronicles Saviors. So this is the limited run version, not the Japanese version. And yeah, really chuffed to get it. Really cool game, really cool horizontal shooter. Really cool. So quite chuffed to get this in the collection as well, as I'm a big fan of the Darius games. Definitely one of my favourite shooter franchises. So really cool to get that. Let's see. Next game I picked up for the DS. Just picked this up on a whim. This is an eBay purchase. Just one I need for the collection, and it's Diddy Racing DS. Yeah, just another sort of kart racing game. Definitely wanted to pick it up, and yeah, it's a fun game. So tough to get that. Okay, next up we have some. Let's see. Okay, 3DS games. Got a little stack here, have to say. Definitely, like I said before, I've been loving the 3DS. Been spending a lot of time playing it, and there's a lot of fantastic games for it. And so I did want to make sure that I pick up the ones I wanted to check out. There were a couple of games that I saw. I know Argos was doing a few deals online, some really good deals actually. So I thought I'd pick up some of these titles. This first one here I picked up from Argos. This is Argos Online. Was Steel Diver. I picked this up really because it was brand new sealed and it was only £4. So I thought I would check that one out. It did look quite interesting. I know it was a launch game. So yeah, really quite chuffed to check this one out. Another game I picked up from Argos. Again, it was a great deal, brand new and sealed, and that was Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. Essentially, buying this really sort of spurred me on to pick up the new 3DS. So I'm looking forward to trying out this game. I know I've heard this is not really the best port of the game. Obviously, the Wii version is better, but I really couldn't be asked to buy the Wii version. So I thought I would give this version a try. So looking forward to trying that one out. Let's see here. Next game as well I picked up from Argos. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say as well. This was 20 quid, brand new and sealed, from Argos, so I thought that was a great deal. Next one I also picked up from Argos. I believe this was about 15 quid, brand new and sealed, and that is Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, just part of that sort of Mario RPG series. So looking forward to trying that one out. And next title I've got here, and this is one that I picked up at CEX. This was actually bought with credit. Back when I bought the Fire Emblem game from CEX that I bought from the shop, I just forgot to include this in my last video, and that was Pilotwings Resort. Just picked it up on the cheap, just wanted to try it out. It's okay, it's just a fun, you know, relaxation sort of game. Nothing really special, but it's fun. It's fun for what it is, but I thought I'd give it a try because it was cheap. And the last couple of games here is basically 2 American games, and I picked up Gunvolt, the Gunvolt Striker Pack, and I also picked up Code of Princess. Now, the reason why I wanted to pick these games up is because these are 2 US exclusive games that never came out here in Europe. They are available digitally, so essentially what I did was I downloaded both games digitally, and then I decided I wanted to get the physical copies, so I picked these up as well, just to sort of add in the collection. I have toyed with the idea of picking up a US 3DS, and that's something I might do some point down the line, but I thought for the time being I'll pick these 2 games up, and of course I can play them as I own them both digitally as well. Gunvolt, it's called the Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack. This is basically 2 games in one, and I highly recommend people check this game out. Basically, this is actually 2 games in one. If you're a fan of the Mega Man X games, this is basically what it kind of is. It's like a 2D run and gun action game. Very old school, very sort of 16-bit in nature. I highly recommend people check out Azure Striker Gunvolt. Especially as this is like 2 games in one, and if you download them digitally, they're not that expensive, so definitely check them out, guys. They're fantastic games. I've been playing them on my 3DS. It's brilliant games. And I had to get Code of Princess, as essentially this is like a 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up / RPG. It's very much like Guardian Heroes on the Saturn, and I believe this was actually made by some of the same developers as the original Guardian Heroes as well. So again, you can download this digitally. I have it digitally, and I just wanted to get a physical copy of it as well. So for me, these were definitely 2 must-haves, especially Gunvolt, as I heard that this is actually starting to become a little bit of a pricier game, so I thought I would jump on it now before the price started to climb on it even more. And the last thing I picked up for the 3DS, and this was something a little bit special, and something that took me completely by surprise. I was not expecting the package to be so big, and what I got was the Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. This is a massive box, and I'm going to show you guys the contents of the box, but really chuffed to get this. Like I said, I've been a really big fan of the Fire Emblem games, so this was definitely a must-have, and I've not gotten around to play it yet because I've been busy playing Fire Emblem Birthright, but yeah, I look forward to trying this at some point. And this is a massive box. Was not expecting this when it arrived, but I will show you guys what this actually came with. The very first thing I saw, it came with these this sort of box, and it came with essentially these sort of 3 pins, all with the characters done in sort of like an 8-bit style. For those that don't know, this particular Fire Emblem game is actually a remake of a Famicom title that was known as Fire Emblem Gaiden. So this is basically like an updated modern retake. So anyway, yeah, so it came with that. It also came with the game, of course. Nice to know that it didn't have the German USK logo on it, because that is really annoying. So I'm glad that didn't come with that. But yeah, glad to get the game. It also comes with a reversible cover as well that actually has the original Famicom artwork. So I haven't opened the game yet, so I can't show you that. But yeah, really chuffed to get that. Then of course you get the soundtrack, the Sounds of Echoes, and it's got 30 tracks on here. So yeah, so if you're into that kind of thing, it's definitely nice to have. Then of course you get your obligatory art book. I haven't opened it yet, I haven't really had a look at it yet, but again, it's nice to have. But the two items I was quite chuffed to get, and probably the main reason why the box was so big, was it comes with Amiibo figures. It comes with the two main characters. So you've got Celsia and you've got Alm. So yeah, really nice to get both the Fire Emblem character Amiibo figures as well. So really chuffed to get those. Let's move all this out of the way. Okay. Right. So on the subject of Fire Emblem, I actually picked up one Fire Emblem game that's been on my list to get. One highly sought after game by me. Really chuffed to pick it up. I actually got this a while back. I picked this up back in April, and I was chuffed as it arrived mint. It was like brand new. And what I picked up was Fire Emblem Path of Radiance for the Cube. So this was essentially the only one I needed. The last sort of European release Fire Emblem game that I needed to pick up, and this is a brilliant game. Like I said before, it arrived mint. It's got all the bump, all the manual, etc. Case is perfect, really clean, really nice. Really chuffed with this. It was a pricey title, but I'm really chuffed to get it. In fact, just prior to playing Fire Emblem Birthright, I started playing this game just to sort of try it out, and I wound up sort of playing it for about 3 or 4 hours until I got sidetracked. But this is a really good game. Seems to have a really cool storyline, and yeah, just really chuffed to finally add this one into the collection. Yeah, great game to have. So really chuffed that I finally got all the Fire Emblem games that have been released in Europe so far. Now, sticking with the Cube, since I picked up that title, I decided I wanted to pick up some Cube titles. Now, I don't own a GameCube, but I own a Wii, and I do have a few Cube titles in my collection, but not that many. And I was watching Scott's channel, Scott's Game Reviews. He's been putting out a lot of great content as of late. A lot of great reviews for some classic Cube titles. And this particular series I wanted to have a go on. I've been feeling to play them. But at first I wasn't too sure I was going to get them on the Cube. I thought maybe I'll get them on a different system. But I thought, you know what? They're probably worth picking up on the Cube. I've heard a lot of good things about the GameCube ports. So I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm going to get them on the Cube. And that, of course, was the Resident Evil series. So I picked up the first Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Remake. Now, I already own this game on the PlayStation 3, but I actually got this. This was an eBay purchase. I actually picked it up with Resident Evil 0. I picked it up with Resident Evil 0, and I picked it up with Resident Evil 4. So I actually got all these three games. Basically came to about 20 quid. And I believe Resident Evil 4 even comes with a memory card as well. So I was quite chuffed to get all three of these games from eBay. And yeah, so it's just nice to pick these ones up. I do think probably the Cube has got the best versions of Resident Evil So really chuffed to get those. Of course, it doesn't stop there. I also picked up Resident Evil 2. I started playing this. This was actually the game I was feeling to play for the most part. Because I don't have a CRTV, well, I do have a small one, but I don't have it hooked up at the moment. I've been feeling to play this game, but I didn't want to play my PS1 version because it just looks like utter crap on a HD TV. But because I run the Wii through a component cable, it doesn't. The games don't look that bad. So I decided to pick up Resident Evil 2, and yeah, it's fantastic. Love playing it. Of course, you know, trying to get used to the tank controls again for a moment took a bit of getting used to, but once I settled into the game, it's just a lot of fun. As much fun as I remember it being. For me, Resident Evil 2 is definitely very nostalgic, as it was the first Resident Evil game that I played and completed back on the PlayStation 1. And then finally, I also picked up Resident Evil 3. Again, very nostalgic for me, as these were the two games that I owned on the PlayStation 1. I've completed both of these games on the PlayStation 1. So I was very much looking forward to checking both of them out on the GameCube. And from the little I've played of Resident Evil 3 as well, it's fantastic. I can't wait to really put some hours into both of these titles. So yeah, just really, really chuffed to have all the... Well, I still need to get Code Veronica, but it's a little bit pricey. But for now, just chuffed to get the sort of the main bulk of the Resident Evil series on the GameCube. Okay, next game I have here, this is PlayStation 2. And this is actually a game I've had to rebuy. I actually own this game, but my condition was like really shit, so I thought I'd upgrade it. And it's a really cool racer, and I picked it up for very, very cheap, for pennies practically. And that was Shox. Really cool rally game, very arcadey. Definitely worth recommending, guys. If you don't have this game in your collection, definitely pick it up. It doesn't go through for much. So it's definitely worth checking out, guys. Really cool arcadey racing title. Okay, next titles I've got here. A couple of PlayStation 1 games. It's been a while since I've picked up some PlayStation 1 games here, but I saw these two on eBay for a really good deal, so I got them both together, and they're in fantastic nick as well. And for whatever reason, they're two like common titles. They're not rare in any way. They're very common games, but surprisingly games I never owned, never ever owned. And I loved these games back in the day. I played the first game in the series back in the day, thought it was fantastic, and thought, I don't know why I never got around to picking it up, but I finally did, and I also got the sequel as well. So what I got was Ridge Racer, and of course Ridge Racer Revolution. Both of them are complete and fantastic nick, so really, really chuffed to get both of these titles as well. Great additions to the PlayStation 1 collection. I am actually considering, I've got a PlayStation 1 that I bought back in the day that I barely used, and I sort of stored it away. And well, I'm thinking about setting up my little small CRT that I've got from way back, and I'm thinking about hooking up my PlayStation 1 because I'm really fiending to play some of these PlayStation 1 titles, but I just can't play them on the modern TV because they just look so awful. They look terrible. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to giving these games a try as well. Hopefully as soon as I sort out a little setup for them. But yeah, chuffed to finally get these. And lastly, I've got some Game Boy Advance games here. Some quality titles here. Great additions. All three of these games I had loose, so these are upgrades. I've managed to pick them up boxed and complete. The most recent one that came, really chuffed to get this because for whatever reason this was actually quite difficult to get in good nick, and that is the NES Classic Castlevania. And yeah, it's in really nice condition, really solid. I won this on auction, so just really chuffed to pick this one up. So yeah, definitely a great addition to have on the Game Boy Advance. Just a fantastic port. So yeah, really chuffed to get this. And sticking with Castlevania, I also picked up Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Really chuffed to get this. I did have to pay a bit of a premium for this one because this is actually mint, and it's proper mint. I don't want to take it out of the box protector, but trust me guys when I tell you it's mint. So yeah, this is Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Definitely one I wanted to get boxed and complete. And yeah, just really chuffed to finally add this one into the collection. Yeah, great game to have. And last but not least, I also picked up Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. This one is in pretty good nick as well. I actually won this on auction. I got it well below the going rate, so I was really chuffed with it. The only thing that's wrong is there's like some damage here on the side, but I can live with that. Aside from that, it's in really good nick, so really chuffed to get this because as a Kirby fan as well, this was definitely one I wanted to get boxed and complete, so really chuffed to get this as well. And that's it guys, that's basically all my pickups for the last 3 months. Yeah, so this was basically pickups from April, May and a bit of June as well. So yeah guys, let me know what you guys thought. Are there any games here that you've played? Let me know what you guys think of any of the titles. Let me know what your opinions are of these games. And I love, of course, always love to hear your thoughts as well. So thank you very much for watching guys. I'll be back very soon at some point, not too sure when, but I will be back. So thank you very much for watching guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.